The rain was relentless, mirroring the storm brewing inside me. I am Ansel, and until a few weeks ago I thought I had it all. A beautiful home in Seattle, a stable career as an IT specialist, and a wife, Gisela, whom I adored. We'd been married for 15 years, a milestone I thought we'd celebrate with joy, not the bitter taste of betrayal. It all started subtly. Gisela, always health-conscious, decided to attend a yoga retreat in the San Juan Islands. At first, I was supportive. She worked hard as a marketing executive, and I knew she needed a break. "It'll be good for you, love," Id said, kissing her goodbye as she packed her bags. "Relax, recharge, and come back refreshed." Looking back, the first red flag was her insistence on going alone. We'd always enjoyed traveling together, but this time she claimed she needed solitude and inner peace. I brushed it off, attributing it to the stresses of her job. Then came the strange phone calls. She'd step outside to take them, her voice hushed and secretive. When I asked who it was, she'd vaguely say work stuff or just a friend from the retreat. My unease grew, a gnawing feeling that something wasn't right. I tried to dismiss it as paranoia, a side effect of my overactive imagination. But the feeling persisted, a constant hum of anxiety that I couldn't shake. One evening, while Gisela was out catching up with a colleague, I decided to do some digging. I know it's not my proudest moment, but I felt like I was drowning, grasping for any piece of evidence that could either confirm or deny my suspicions. I started with her laptop. It was password protected, of course, but I knew Gisela's penchant for using the same password for everything. After a few tries, I was in. Her email was a dead end, meticulously cleaned. But then I remembered her cloud storage account. I found a folder labeled Yoga Retreat Photos. My heart sank as I opened it. There were pictures of Gisela in various yoga poses, looking serene and relaxed. But then I saw a subfolder titled Private. Inside were dozens of photos of Gisela with another man. They were intimate, to say the least. Holding hands, kissing, laughing together. The man was tall, muscular, and undeniably handsome. My stomach churned. I didn't recognize him. Who was he? And what was really going on at this yoga retreat? I felt like I'd been sucker punched. The air was thick, suffocating. My vision blurred and I stumbled back, knocking over a lamp. The sound startled me back to reality. I had to know more. I scrolled through the photos, searching for any clue about the man's identity. Then I saw a small, almost imperceptible tattoo on his wrist. It was a stylized wave, the kind you'd see on a surfer. I racked my brain. Where had I seen that tattoo before? Then it hit me. A few months ago, Gisela had mentioned meeting a yoga instructor named Corbin at a local studio. He'd apparently given her a free class, and she'd raved about how amazing he was. I remembered seeing a picture of him on the studio's website. I pulled it up. It was him, Corbin. My wife was having an affair with her yoga instructor. The rage that surged through me was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. I wanted to scream, to break things, to lash out at anyone who crossed my path. But I knew that wouldn't solve anything. I needed to gather more evidence to confirm my suspicions beyond a shadow of a doubt. I decided to install a hidden camera in our bedroom. It was a desperate move, I know, but I felt like I had no other choice. The next few days were agonizing. I acted normal, pretending that everything was fine. I smiled, laughed, and made small talk with Gisela, all while knowing that she was betraying me. It was torture. Finally, the day arrived when Gisela announced that Corbin would be coming over for dinner. "He's new to Seattle and doesn't know anyone," she said innocently. I thought it would be nice to invite him over, nice for whom, I wondered. I plastered on a fake smile and agreed. "That sounds lovely," I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm that she thankfully didn't notice. I spent the afternoon preparing the house, making sure the hidden camera was in place and functioning properly. I felt like I was in a spy movie, a surreal and unsettling experience. Corbin arrived promptly at 7. He was even more handsome in person, radiating an air of confidence and charm that I found repulsive. He greeted Gisela with a warm hug, lingering a moment too long for my liking. "Ansel, this is Corbin," Gisela said, introducing us. "Corbin, this is my husband." We shook hands, our eyes locking in a silent battle of wills. I could see the smugness in his gaze, the unspoken message that he was winning. I wanted to punch him, to wipe that smirk off his face, but I restrained myself. I had to play it cool to gather the evidence I needed. We made small talk over dinner, discussing everything from yoga to the Seattle weather. Corbin was charming and engaging, easily winning over Gisela with his witty banter and flattery. I watched them, my heart aching with each shared glance and inside joke. It was clear that they were completely infatuated with each other. After dinner, Gisela suggested that we watch a movie. I agreed, knowing that this was my chance to catch them in the act. As the movie played, I excused myself to use the restroom. In reality, I went to check the footage from the hidden camera. What I saw made my blood run cold. Gisela and Corbin were kissing, passionately and without restraint. They were all over each other, their hands exploring every inch of each other's bodies. It was disgusting, sickening, and utterly heartbreaking. I felt like I was watching a horror movie, a nightmare that I couldn't wake up from. I stumbled back into the living room, my face pale and drawn. Gisela and Corbin looked up, startled by my sudden appearance. "Ansel, are you okay?" Gisela asked, her voice laced with concern. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "I have," I said, my voice trembling with anger and pain. "I've seen the ghost of my marriage, the ghost of my trust, the ghost of the woman I thought I knew." Gisela's face paled. She knew. She knew that I knew. "Ansel, I can explain," she stammered, her eyes darting nervously between me and Corbin. "There's nothing to explain," I said, my voice rising. "I saw the footage, I know everything." Corbin stood up, his face hardening. "Look, man, this isn't what it looks like," he said, trying to defuse the situation. "Oh, really?" I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "Then enlighten me, Corbin. What exactly does it look like when you're making out with my wife in my own living room?" Corbin was silent, his bravado evaporating in the face of my anger. Gisela started to cry. "Ansel, please, I am so sorry," she sobbed. "It was a mistake. It won't happen again, a mistake." I repeated, my voice incredulous. "You call this a mistake? You've been lying to me for weeks, sneaking around behind my back, and you expect me to believe that it was just a mistake." I couldn't stand to look at her any longer. I turned to Corbin. "Get out," I said, my voice cold and hard. "Get out of my house and out of my life. If I ever see you again, it'll make you regret the day you were born." Corbin didn't argue. He grabbed his jacket and fled, leaving Gisela and me alone in the wreckage of our marriage. I looked at Gisela, my heart aching with a pain I never knew existed. "I don't understand," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "How could you do this to me? How could you betray me like this?" Gisela continued to sob, her body shaking with remorse. "I don't know," she said, her voice muffled by tears. I just got caught up in the moment. It was a mistake, Ansel, I swear." "A mistake that you repeated multiple times," I said, my voice bitter. "A mistake that you planned and orchestrated. Don't insult my intelligence, Gisela. I know what you did, and I know that it wasn't just a mistake." I walked away, unable to bear the sight of her tears. I went to our bedroom, the room where we had shared so many happy memories, and started to pack my bags. "Where are you going?" Gisela asked, following me into the room. "I am leaving," I said, my voice flat. "I can't stay here. I can't be with you. Not after what you've done." "But Ansel, please don't leave," she pleaded. "We can work through this. We can go to therapy. We can fix this." "There's nothing to fix," I said, my voice devoid of emotion. "You broke something that can't be fixed. You destroyed my trust, and without trust, there's nothing left." I finished packing my bags and walked out of the house, leaving Gisela standing there, alone and heartbroken. I didn't look back. I couldn't. I knew that if I did, I might weaken, might forgive her, might give her another chance. But I also knew that I couldn't live with the knowledge of her betrayal. It would haunt me forever. I spent the next few weeks in a hotel, trying to process what had happened and figure out what to do next. I consulted with a lawyer who advised me to file for divorce. I did. The divorce proceedings were messy and painful. Gisela fought me every step of the way, claiming that she still loved me and wanted to save our marriage. But I was adamant. I wanted out. I wanted to be free from her lies and her betrayal. Finally, the divorce was finalized. I walked out of the courthouse a free man, but I didn't feel free. I felt empty, hollow, like a part of me was missing. I had lost my wife, my home, and my sense of security. I was starting over from scratch at the age of 46. It was daunting, but I knew that I had to do it. I had to rebuild my life, to find happiness again, to prove to myself that I could survive this ordeal. I moved out of Seattle, leaving behind all the memories, both good and bad. I bought a small cabin in the mountains of Montana, a place where I could be alone with my thoughts and reconnect with nature. I spent my days hiking, fishing, and reading. I started painting again, a hobby that I had abandoned years ago. Slowly, I began to heal. One day, a few months after the divorce was finalized, I received a letter from Gisela. I hesitated before opening it, unsure if I was ready to face her again. But curiosity got the better of me. I opened the letter and began to read. Gisela wrote about how sorry she was for what she had done. She admitted that she had made a terrible mistake, that she had let her ego and her desires get the better of her. She said that she had lost everything because of her actions. Corbin had dumped her shortly after our divorce, and she was now alone and miserable. She begged for my forgiveness, not because she wanted me back, but because she needed to ease her conscience. I read the letter, my heart filled with a mixture of pity and anger. I knew that Gisela was suffering, but I couldn't bring myself to forgive her. The pain she had caused me was too deep, the wound too fresh. I wrote her back, telling her that I appreciated her apology but that I couldn't forgive her. I said that I hoped she would find peace and happiness in her life, but that I couldn't be a part of it. I never heard from Gisela again. I moved on with my life, slowly but surely. I started dating again, eventually finding someone who loved and respected me for who I was. I remarried a few years later, and we built a happy and fulfilling life together. I never forgot about Gisela, but I learned to let go of the pain and the anger. I realized that holding on to those negative emotions was only hurting me. Looking back, I see that Gisela's betrayal was a turning point in my life. It forced me to confront my own vulnerabilities, to learn to trust my instincts, and to appreciate the importance of honesty and integrity in a relationship. It was a painful lesson, but it was one that I needed to learn. I emerged from the ashes of my broken marriage a stronger, wiser, and more resilient man. And for that, I am grateful. I hope my story serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the most seemingly perfect relationships can crumble under the weight of betrayal. Trust is the foundation of any successful partnership, and once it's broken, it's difficult if not impossible to repair. Choose your partners wisely and always be honest and open with each other. It's the only way to build a love that lasts. My journey was filled with heartbreak, rage, and disbelief. The discovery of the affair shattered my world, leaving me to pick up the pieces and rebuild. I hope my story resonates with you and offers some comfort in knowing that you are not alone. Remember to prioritize your well-being and never tolerate betrayal. Your happiness is worth fighting for. Take care and stay strong.